Well, hello guys, welcome back. Somebody asked me a really good question a while ago, and the marriage has probably gone off and they got 5 kids already, but I told Loki, I said, it's actually none of our business. And he's like, yes. And when you tell Loki something is none of his business, he makes it his business. And today, even a thing about God spousing came up, so I was like, fine, Loki, whatever. Um, the person had asked if they work with God, and I hope I'm not oversharing. In this case, it was Freyr. They wanted to have a marriage with him because even though they don't feel him in daily life, they do serve him, and he proposed in a dream. Well, one, we know we have historical evidence for marriages to Freyr, so you're lucky there. And two, you have to proceed, if you haven't already, as makes you feel comfortable. I really can't advise you there because I've worked with Freyr, but not to like is the same extent I've worked with Loki, because Loki tends to take up your time when you work with him. And just make it, if you're not feeling their presence while you're making the ceremony, maybe it would be better to try to keep it simple. I mean, if elaborate is what your heart space wants, go for elaborate. But sometimes simple is better. If over time communication opens, then you can go back and do a second, third, fourth, fifth ceremony. It doesn't matter. I would say a good thing to do is to work on communication, since, if you're going to take the step of being married, is back in the 80s and 90s, we were kind of lucky. Every book for Wicca had some kind of visualization to do, and everybody hated doing visualization because it's so boring. But you sit there and you meditate, and you're in the sands of Egypt, and you're going to meet Bastet, or you could be in a woodland setting and you're going to meet Freyr. And it's a visualization exercise, and it's how you meet the gods. And at first it seems like we're all sitting around playing pretend like little toddlers. And then stuff starts to happen, and you're like, oh my god, this works. This is how you actually communicate with gods. And if that doesn't work for you, if you can't sit to meditate, take 5 minutes before bed as you're falling asleep and start talking to the god in question and start imagining what the responses will be. Imagination is what is actually going to open the door to communication. Um, and it may take a long, long time, but eventually you will get the communication there. And there will be some days where you'll be ignoring it because you have stuff to do. Like he's in the back, like, yeah, you ignore me all the time. Tell people you don't love me, you don't take care of me, and I starve. He's very pleased with himself. But yeah, make it your own thing. Make it really comfortable. I was brought up Catholic. And in Catholicism, their version of being married to their god is, only the women can marry God. Boo. And men become God. You know, and it's a lifetime commitment. Now, it's very different for nuns today. They don't wear habits usually. Habits are really old-fashioned, old hat. Most of the orders do not wear them. Most don't live in convents anymore. They live in regular houses and they have full-time jobs, and yes, they're still nuns. So that's something to think about. That's kind of more the arrangement you're going to have than the old-fashioned idea of going off and living in a convent somewhere. You'll still be in the world. So, make sure you've sat down and had that discussion of, if you decide to stop for drinks or something and something happens, is this God okay with that? I can't make the judgment call for you, and I can't answer for your God. It would be nice to play assumptions, but that can get people into trouble. So, um, I would say just, go with your gut feeling and be open with your God. If you want an open marriage or whatever, go with it. But even if you don't feel them, a really simple ceremony will suffice. I had said it in the video that popped up that a lot of people like to embroider stuff. When they first tell you, they're like, the stories, oh, they appeared in a dream. And I'm not talking about the person that asked the question. By the 5th time they tell that story, the god appeared in a dream with 500 horses and 8,000 wedding guests, and they got married on Jupiter. And it's okay to get excited and embroider, but tell people you're doing it. Tell people, oh yeah, actually all that happened was, be honest. That way people don't feel bad when they don't get the grand tour. Um, one person told me, on the channel a while ago that, Loki had proposed marriage, or rather he'd already told them they were married. And they they didn't believe him. They were using a Ouija board to communicate back and forth because they couldn't hear him, and he was like just doing like the eye roll thing. He's like, "Fine, marry me." So he's not big on ceremony. I don't think a lot of gods are, so I can't speak for Freyr, of course. But I get the idea. If it makes you happy, it will make him happy. So take your time. It doesn't have to be a stressful event. You know. I hope that helps because it's really something you have to design for yourself to make yourself happy. It doesn't have to be a 5-hour event if that won't make you happy. If all you can do is take a minute or so, to set aside and just spend time, in quiet contemplation, and that's the whole marriage act, that's fine. And then just, as you go about your life, include your God as you would include any spouse. If you stop to eat or if you're doing chores, think of them, talk to them. Whatever ends up working for you, you know. Nobody has to go on my model. Sometimes my model is, that's not yours, shut up, put that down. Yeah, you don't have to go on that model. But, do what works for you. And I hope that helped, guys. It's really hard to give guidance when really it has to be up to the person, and it has to be up to them what they feel comfortable with. But I hope that helped. I hope you're not more confused than you were. Probably already married, got 3 kids, good on you. So I will see you guys later. Bye bye.